Hi, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are watching right now. All right, okay, I have a question for you today. Have you ever looked at your bills and felt a wave of anxiety? And so, as a single mom, I know that feeling too well. You know, the panic, the racing heart, the overwhelming thoughts. I never knew actually that anxiety could feel like this. It's like a storm. It's like a storm inside your mind. Sobrang grabe lang yung attack niya kapag umatake talaga yung anxiety, no? Making you feel crazy, yeah, trapped and actually helpless. But I've learned that God can use even the struggle for our own good and also for those people around us. And today, I'm gonna share how you can overcome financial anxiety through faith. Right? So again, my name is Luisa. As a single mom, homeschooler, and faith-driven coach, anxiety isn't just a feeling. I just wanna tell to you right now, that anxiety isn't just a feeling. Okay? So it's actually a battle, and when money is tight, that battle can feel impossible to win. I don't know what kind of battle you are experiencing right now, maybe in your health, you know, maybe in your relationship, yeah, or like me, when it comes to my finances, right? So, but I want you to know that you are not alone. Yes, in your battle, you are not alone. God is faithful, and He is bigger than your financial struggles. Today, I'll share my personal testimony and practical steps that help me find peace in Him. All right. So, again, if you're feeling this way, let me tell you, God sees you. He is your provider and He will make a way. Right? So here are the four right, so practical steps to overcome anxiety. Right? So first step, right, if you have your notebook there, you should write it down. Okay? So you will uh, check it again later, and I hope you can actually do it. Right, so first step, replace worry with prayer. Okay, so the enemy actually wants to keep us trapped in fear, but God calls us pray instead. Yeah, observe this. Whenever you have this anxiety, the enemy actually wanted you to keep to that fear, you know and I observe that every time that I'm in that situation, when I'm dwelling, in that fear, you know, I actually, I actually feel that the enemy is laughing. The enemy is celebrating because I am, I am afraid. And that what the enemy wanted. He wanted us to fear, to be afraid, so that our faith will be lessened. Our faith in God will be removed. And that's the enemy wanted. But of course, I remember, ito lang talaga yung palagi kong iniisip, no? Ito yung palagi kong nire-remind din sa sarili ko that every time the enemy attacking me, I'm just telling, not today, devil. Stop, not today, devil. And I don't want the enemy celebrate, that because, Every time that I feel that I am afraid because of this anxiety, because of what is happening in my situation, I don't want him to celebrate. I want God to be pleased because I have this faith in him. You know, and yeah, God calls us to pray instead, right? In Philippians 4 verse 6 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer. So instead of worrying, di ba, dahil di naman siya nakakatulong, it not help us. Actually, when we worried, the the problem become bigger. But when we start praying and asking the Lord, and reminding the Lord about his promises, we start to feel the peace. We start to feel God's presence, right? So if you struggle with prayer, right? So if you struggle with prayer, my Overcoming Anxiety workbook has guided prayers, right? To help you find peace in God, right? So grab it on Amazon. You can check the link in the description below later after this video, right? So next step, again, so this is the next step for practical steps, to overcome anxiety, right? Next is declare God's promises. When anxiety attacks, I don't just sit in. I fight back with God's word. I actually write down and declare Bible verses over my situation. This simple habit changed my mindset and built my faith. And if you want to really understand about it, I have this one book. I actually shared this book before in my previous video. It's about the tongue, you know. Um, I learned about how we're gonna use God's word to give us, to give us peace and assurance that God is really our provider. You know, yeah. So if you want to read that book, right, I will also uh, add a PDF copy, the link for that, so that you can read that book and you start declaring God's word for your life. Okay. And if you need help with this, I offer Faitia coaching session where I guide women through faith-driven mindset so that your mind, shift from being worried, from having this peace that comes from God. All right. So book a session with me so that we can grow together. Okay. And then third, right? So step 3, take faith-based action. What is this? Faith actually isn't just being believing. Faith isn't just believing. Okay? It's acting. When I trusted God, I also worked hard. So I stayed consistent and kept praying. You know, uh, I remember last 2023 when really my income becomes low. I asked the Lord, what should I do now? I'm renting this house. I have my children. They're actually studying and all, and I need, I really need income. I really need to have another source of income that time. But God told me every time that I read the Bible and talking to God, He always told me keep on praying, pray, 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 and it really works. You know, prayer works when you believe in Him. Okay, and um, when I trusted God again, God really moves. Because when you trust God, you also allow Him to control your life. Okay, and it's so good because when you start to not lean on your own understanding, you will start to understand why God is doing, or this situation is happening to you. You will find the answer when you're not asking it, when you just let it go and you allow God to move in your behalf. Don't allow yourself to be God. Many people right now, we want to control our lives. That's why that's why we actually start to feel discouraged and frustrated, because we want to control our lives. But then, you know that God can do what we cannot do. Okay? And again, if you're ready to take steps toward faith and peace, my workbook will help you apply these steps daily. And check the link below to get yours, to get your copy, which is you can buy it in Amazon. All right. So, uh, I just want to ask you, which of these steps do you need to focus on, right? Maybe the step one, step two, or step three, right? Comment below, and I'd love to pray for you, right? So if this video encouraged you, this is just short, give it a like and subscribe for more faith-driven content. And if you want to dive deeper, grab my Overcoming Anxiety workbook on Amazon, or book a coaching session with me through the Faitia app, which is I gonna put the link in description. Okay, so in my next video, I'll share my favorite Bible affirmations to combat anxiety. Okay, so don't miss it. And remember, you are not alone. Anxiety doesn't define you. Remember, friend, anxiety doesn't define you. God's peace does, right? So let's walk this journey of faith together. God bless you.